We're amidst round 8 here at the DreamHack HCT Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. My name is Nathan Zamora. You can call me Admirable. I'm joined by Neil Bond. You can call him Lorinda.
Yeah, please do. You can call me Neil Bond if it makes you entertained.
It really does.
I know it does. I've noticed.
Strut that name.
Strut that name.
So good.
So English.
And we got a good match.
We have.
As well. Monsanto is going to be taking on Sirslim in this one. And
knowing looks between the casters.
Yeah. Little fun fact here, Sirslim is Cora's brother.
Yeah, she helped him prepare, and she didn't want to cast this one.
It's going to be Monsanto you're taking a look at on your screen. Yeah, she seemed really nervous about the idea of casting.
Well, last time she cast him, he didn't play great and lost.
Well, it happens.
And she laid into him the entire time.
Sirslim.
Sirslim is a great guy. I've had a chance to hang out with him 2 or 3 times over these events, and very, very quiet, reserved character, but when he comes to this game, he takes it pretty seriously. This is the 3rd good DreamHack performance. He top 8'd that one we were talking about, and came somewhere like top 20 in the other one as well, very nearly making top 16 twice in a row.
Hearthstone runs in the blood.
It really does. It really, really does.
Not bad. Got the bands in, so we can take a look at the lineups and see what's going on for the players. And there it is right there. Monsanto has had his Miracle Rogue band. Oh, I wrote this down. For some reason, I wrote Miracle Druid. I was like, does he have a Miracle?
Miracle Druid. I mean, it's Monsanto, so it might be, you know?
Yeah, so Miracle Rogue banned away. Apologies for that one. That is totally my error. And Warlock going to be banned away from Sirslim. It is Cube Warlock. He's going to have Sirslim's going to have Murloc Paladin, Taunt Druid, and Shudderwock Shaman.
Happening. Shudderwocks are happening. It's not banned.
It's not banned.
We haven't seen one yet, I don't think. I certainly haven't. We may have seen one yesterday.
It was Killing All Day. It was unsuccessful Shudderwalking, and then Mind Blast Priest, Token Druid, and even Warlock's going to be a 3 for Monsanto. Game 1 is getting underway, and so we're going to find out who can keep their fight alive in this one.
Little fun fact I picked up from Teebs, by the way. Teebs had the best game record ever in any DreamHack. He won 26 and lost 6 in games in the Swiss. It's 26 and 6 game win, not match win. Language Hacker is 18 and 4 going into this round. So if Language Hacker only loses 1 or 2 more games in the next 2 and wins them both, Language Hacker will have the best ever record in the Swiss in terms of game win-loss.
Chance to set some records.
Chance to set some records for DreamHack Grand Prix.
Keep it up, Language Hacker. I know you're doing this round. Hopefully you're not at 2 losses.
Thanks for Teebs for that one. That's a lovely little stat. I remember looking it up at the time and sort of hadn't realised it was getting close now.
Yep, so game number 1. It's getting underway. Let's get into it. Monsanto, I actually had the joy of practicing with Monsanto some this week. And
that sounds terrifying because Monsanto's weird playstyle.
He's very good.
I know he's really good.
There was 2 games where it felt like there were some deviations possible in some of the traditional lines of play. And both times, right as the rope is ending, he would find an alternate line that was superior because of a certain style of setup.
Yeah, it's great when you've got the skill that he's got, where you can look. You see the standard line so quickly. You can spend all that other time looking for these setups.
Yes, and that's exactly what he was doing. He was taking the full time to just visualize all the different outcomes, and then he would find one that just goes, wait, this one fits exactly what you're trying to do.
And if you don't find it, you just play the standard line and no harm, no foul.
Well, we'd get wrecked when that happened. They were very critical points of games.
Oh, okay.
And that's I think one of his strongest features that he has is that Monsanto is capable of looking into deep lines of play very quickly. That was the sense I got practicing with him. And the other thing that I got a sense of was at some point in the session, he goes, "You draw worse than anyone I've ever seen."
So you've got validation finally.
He said, I never draw this way. And I went, well, that's the life of Admirable.
Life of Admirable.
And he said, you must be the best player in the world if you're able to win like this.
Admirable, of course, 5-0 last time, played an HCT event at one point.
And I couldn't wait to brag about that once I got to a broadcast. I'm really glad I got to point out here. Yeah. Real talk, though, Monsanto is very good, and all the losses were because of plays that I made, not because of his.
One of the things about those players who have that amazing, slightly sort of quirky vision is they're the ones who end up with the slightly quirky decks, because they play these games, they realise this card that everyone's using, I never play it because I'm looking at the game differently from them. And so you end up with these players like Monsanto. Now, he's got a fairly traditional lineup today, but sometimes he just brings outrageous rubbish. And you're like, this is outrageous rubbish. And he'll go, well, no, because this card's rubbish, so why am I playing it? You're playing it, I'm not.
And sometimes
to work it out.
Sometimes it looks like a spectacular failure, but sometimes he puts up huge performances with decks like that. And those are the kinds of risks you take when you make those deck building choices. You're either going to win a lot of games because of it, or you're going to lose some games because of it.
Yeah, something that Viper pointed out to me in these big Swiss tournaments is like, there's no point going 6-3 every tournament. It doesn't get you anywhere. Much rather go 8-1 one day and then go 0-3 drop the next.
Yeah, washouts.
Then you get some top 8s, that's fine.
Take some washouts, take some wins.
Yep,
I'd much rather have a bunch of washouts in one big win than I would having just good performances.
Exactly it. So, especially in these Swiss tournaments where you have to play 5 or 6 rounds against, particularly good players, maybe 1 or 2 at the start can be a bit easier.
Now, that's because I'm kind of crazy. Putting up good performances will get you a lot of points, and getting a lot of points is how you get to a lot of tournaments.
And that's the thing that's changed a little bit now. Like, you don't have to win tournaments anymore. There's flatter play structures than there were at the start of Hearthstone. People realising they've got to look after their professionals and not just stick it all in the top match. But still the same amount of money hanging around, give or take, but, it's much flatter. More people get it now.
Murloc Paladin. This is one of the decks that I think was my favorite right at the balance patch drop. I knew people were going to be playing some greedy stuff, and it's really good at punishing greedy stuff?
Miracle Rogue.
That too. But Murloc Paladin.
Yeah.
It's so strong when people do not have cards dedicated to simply killing minions in a row.
Yeah, one of the recent releases, I can't remember which one exactly, but I was that guy. The guy you meet on ladder and you go, why is he playing this? I'm trying to test my new fun stuff. I'm going, okay, you're only going to play me once and I'm off out your rank and moving up that ladder.
I'm trying to win.
Yeah. Not always. I mean, there's definitely a case for not being that guy at the start of a new release, because you might be that guy with an even better deck.
I'm trying to win fast, all right? I got laundry to do.
Double Murloc War Leader is going to make this interesting.
Well, this is actually an interesting spot here for Sirslim, and notice that he slowed down this. This looks like a super easy trade in this Violet Teacher, but he just set Redemption for his Righteous Protector. And this 6 damage isn't just 6 damage right now, it's 6 damage the next turn as well. I think that Sirslim has an opportunity to get very aggressive here, just go face, and he has 16 on board behind that Righteous Protector with a Sunkeeper Tarim in hand.
His opponent has 4 mana as Druid. What are you going to do, swipe me?
That is a beautiful, aggressive play from Sirslim, and one of the reasons I think he has the liberty of making this is Monsanto didn't kill Murloc War Leader, probably the most important minion in his deck. As soon as you get a priority threat for your opponent and they can't take care of it, that is typically a sign that you can get very aggressive.
Also, that was the mistakes he was making in that one I mentioned earlier when Kura cast, in the top 8. Let's not add this guy making mistakes in the top 8, so he's gone a long way through this tournament. He hasn't made many mistakes, but he was being a little bit timid. And that experience coming to show now, it's like, I'm going to just try and kill you.
It's good aggressive play. Admirable approved.
Admirable approved, Smorking. And yeah, he's given Monsanto one heck of a headache here.
There's a whole lot of nothing in Monsanto's hand. He's going to have to hope this Oaken Summons pulls something on defense, and then he's going to have to hope he draws something to get out of it.
Yeah, and he's got to hope Sirslim doesn't have another good card coming up. I mean, he's had his fair share already.
And, well, that's sort of a weird draw now. So Call to Arms had a potential to pull a second Righteous Protector. Yeah, just protect the stuff is what it looks. That's my instinct as well, is protect the Murloc War Leaders.
Yeah. One of the most aptly named cards in all of Hearthstone. Righteous Protector tells you what it does.
It used to buff the health of other Murlocs. What the heck?
Why did we have that card?
I don't know.
For 5 years or something, 4 years.
I remember back in 1997 when Murloc War Leader was first released.
Yeah, that was in the trading card.
Not everything's as old as you, Lorinda.
Not many things as old as me, in fact, now you mention it. I remember most things appearing.
That is a devastating Cold Light Seer.
Point face.
Yes. It still hasn't killed the important ones. Little safety trade.
Sure, I mean, if you've got lethal next turn and that's going to work for you, then why not?
Spotting about 16 different ways to lethal. Monsanto on 5 mana. That's the game.
What is it with this round 8? People are just getting massacred.
Well, this is where I think one of the big inflection points of the tournament is. You've seen both sides of the brackets start to clash. They've been taking out the majority of the field, and then when they run up against each other, how do they line up?
Right.
If it's the standard stuff that's winning, you continue to see long, grindy matches. But if it's been tech choices and lineup choices that have been winning, Mind Blast Priest, we haven't seen a lot of that in the tournament so far. We haven't seen a lot of Murloc Paladin. These are decks that came up through different ends of fields, and now when they clash into each other, who's got the better matchup?
Can't quite work out why Mind Blast Priest isn't everywhere. It was like the best deck, and now it's not, and nothing got nerfed. But
it was the stuff that it beat was the best stuff.
All the stuff got nerfed that it
yeah.
beat, and now it's nothing to prey on, which is really strange how a nerf can affect a deck that wasn't nerfed.
It had the right tools, and honestly, it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
I've watched Monsanto play a lot of this deck and go through a lot of variations of it, and at times he's purely on Mind Blasts, where he will cut some of the Dragon package. I've seen him try that out. I've seen him go for heavier Dragon packages. I've seen him go to more like minion-centric style of play, and you know, sometimes I'm curious if he ever mixes that up and just throws in some Divine Spirit Inner Fire into the mix, because everyone knows he likes to play Mind Blast Priest. But Monsanto, every time I log in, he's like top 10 legend every single time.
Yeah, he is one of those players that just hangs out in this ridiculous. I mean, legend it's always been hard to be top 10, but now there's so many more people clamoring for that with the extra money available this year. There are players out there saying, you know what? I'm struggling to get my top 100. What's happened? And then they realise, oh, there's 101 people trying to get top 100 now. Before there were 35 or something. Exaggerating, of course, but yeah. Now there's not enough space for all of them to get top 100 anymore. There's too many of them to get there. Or 25, you see these people, oh, I think these should have all got top 25. The ladder system sucks. There's 40 of you. You can't all be top 25.
Just got an update, thanks to production. Language Hacker, 8-0.
Right. Do we happen to know what score he won by? Can we find out?
His game count is 24-5.
24-5. So if he 3-0s the last round, it must be, yeah, 21-5, yeah. So if he 3-0s the 24-5, yeah.
Yeah, 24-5.
So if he 3-0s the last round, he'll have the best record ever. 3-1s, he'll actually have the best record ever as well. The record is 26-6 by Teebs.
That's a game score.
Yeah, that's a game score in the Swiss. I think Teebs actually lost a match in that 26-6, but still, 26-6. Yeah, so 24-5. Going to be interesting to see if Language Hack can set a new DreamHack record there.
That'd be insane.
That'd be ridiculous.
1-3-0 is all it takes. Monsanto, very strong opening hand. Murloc Paladin is certainly a deck that can suffer a lot against the Priest package. It's got Duskbreakers, it's got Northshire Cleric to draw lots of cards, it's got Acolyte of Pain to draw even more cards. You know, one of the big ways that Murloc Paladin wins this matchup is it gets aggressive, and it gets aggressive right away.
Yeah.
If you're able to do that and your minions stick to board, your opponent's going to take a lot of damage. So in this spot, Monsanto's hand is looking not well set up to actually fight this.
One of the things I say about this deck regularly is it's a lot harder than it used to be to get a pure Murloc draw. You know, you've had to make some concessions. You've got to put the Righteous Protectors came back in. They went out for a while because you had enough one-drop Murlocs, like Grimscale Chum, those
Beautiful.
sort of cards.
Beautiful attack from Sirslim. You know, you can get punished by this, yes, but I think these are the risks he needs to take.
These are the risks he didn't take in the top 8 in Atlanta.
In this matchup, your opponent is either going to blow you out of the water by killing all your stuff, or they're going to struggle a little bit, and you're going to be able to capitalize.
Yeah, and it's nice to say that about somebody who's probably going to get the good side of it. We've said it a few times, every single time they've been blown out. This one, this could work. And Monsanto's feeling what's happening here as well. It's like, oh, he did this to me last game. He's going to just do this again.
Yeah, I mean,
why doesn't he trade? Damn it!
He's got to look at this Wild Pyromancer and go, I think I just got to play this.
Oh, you hate to see that though.
I think I just got to trade this Northshire Cleric. He doesn't have an option.
Ooh. And talking of having options, Sirslim has plenty of them this turn.
Cold Light Seer protects the Warrior Leader.
Seems good.
Now, Wild Pyromancer is a more difficult one, I'd say, to leave up.
It's a terrifying card to leave up against this deck. If they've got, like, powered shields and stuff, you are in a world of hurt.
But Monsanto certainly would have powered shielded that turn. So I think that's out of the equation.
Yep. So now he's down to his 2s and his 3s. You can't play many of them in one turn and keep the Pyromancer alive, at least. So if you're going to trade into it, you've got to be very careful because it's going to kill itself anyway. Yeah, so Slim is spoilt for good choices here. The Seer is just tempting. But this is also, this is like...
The Seer doesn't have an opportunity to protect both minions.
Yeah.
Unless he trades with the Murloc War Leader.
And he wants to do damage with that, not trade with it if possible.
Trading's not on his mind. So now...
This is what he was looking for, I think. He thought, if I can get this 60% hit here...
Noble Sacrifice or Redemption.
Yeah, and just keep going at it.
Need some stuff's going to live.
And now my Seer is going to do more things.
Oh boy. His hand is getting
clunky is the word you're looking for.
It's getting a bit rough. If Monsanto can get to that turn 7 point with a reasonable health total, that's going to be good for him. But right now, this is not the makings of a winning hand.
And this is because Sirslim decided to take a bit of a chance on that last turn. Not a huge chance, just a small one. And protect this board. Assume that Monsanto can't do anything. You said about the shield, he hasn't got it. He'd have played it last turn.
Yeah.
And now he's in just such a great spot because of that. Not only that, but he's done 3 extra damage.
Monsanto's not even sure he should attack.
Yeah.
What if it's double sacrifice?
Yeah, then you're in trouble. Well, that's dealt with. That's 3 extra damage you just wouldn't have been done.
And now, Sirslim can know that Monsanto doesn't have Duskbreaker with the dragon in hand. He would have used that.
Oh, I'm just owing here because he's played 2 turns of Hearthstone that mattered, and they've been great.
This has been solid aggressive play.
Yeah.
This is how you get it done.
Yeah, this is a player. I mean, Sirslim's a good player. I don't want, we say it runs in the family very clearly, but this play compared to last time, bit of big stage experience behind him now as well. There's not that fear of, oh, this looks a bit silly, what if it goes wrong, that a lot of people have the first time on the stage. He's made some interesting looking plays that if they'd gone wrong would look a bit silly.
So this trade now, there is a chance Monsanto would not have played Duskbreaker. I will concede that. I think he would have played it more often than not, but now the range of draws by which he gets punished are Power Word Shield, oftentimes Wild Pyromancer, and Duskbreaker at that point. This trade on the Murloc War Leader wants to preserve this 4/4 as much as possible, so that if any of those cards appear, he's still got pressure rolling.
And turn 5 is the turn. This is what you love to see your opponent doing here. You know how desperate he is when he does this.
And, run it back.
Yeah. You can't. Well, you can. You might have to, but now you can't play the Duskbreaker if you draw it. Which makes that less entertaining of a prospect. We're going to see another buff here. Just desperately digging through the deck to find answers.
This just doesn't have it. This is just so much damage.
Yeah, and this is enough damage now. This Vine Cleaver is becoming relevant. Because if it's like Psychic Sphere where your stuff, I'm just going to hit you for 4 a couple of times.
Save that Call to Arms, too. That's reload.
Where's my Dragonfire Potion? Oh, I know. It's gone. You're not allowed those anymore. Made a huge difference.
Hammering in. Monsanto is on 9. Holy Fire can take him up to 14, but that would leave 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage on board, but that gets him to Psychic Scream.
It gets him there, but there's the Vine Cleaver back up. There's stuff still coming.
Second Call to Arms.
How much stuff's coming? A lot of stuff. He doesn't need to commit any things this turn.
Yeah, he really doesn't.
Nope, keep counting.
Counting to see if jugglers.
Oh, yeah.
There's a juggler.
This aggressive play
has game.
Paid off. Sirslim going for the jugular.
Monsanto can't survive.
Absolutely insane. He's going to get it cleared up.
It's turn after turn. Unanswered Murloc War Leader and friends, rather. And give the opportunity.
If you're not paying attention to that game, it's very easy to think that was really easy. He made a lot of tight decisions in that game, especially around that Pyromancer on turn 2.
And that Hydrologist was... Yeah. That was key. It was key to try to protect that War Leader for a turn rather than just play another big thing and let the Wild Pyromancer trade in. If he had done that or he had gone for a trade, it would have resulted in far less damage, and he would have had a less safe position as that game moved on. And
he wasn't just stuffing things on the board. He was like, I don't think he's got Powered Shield because reason. I don't think he's got Duskbreaker, which we agree was not such an amazing 100% read, but there's a reason why he probably hasn't.
Evidence to believe.
Evidence, good word. And that got him that game. 2-0.
Even Warlock is now the last deck for Monsanto. He has got to 3-0 with this, or it's going to be a match loss. Sirslim still got the Murloc the Murloc Paladin. This is last year's standing, so you win the deck. You keep the deck you win with, and he's got Taunt Druid and Shudderwalk Shaman back behind that.
And that's a big deal, having 3 goes at it all with the last hero standing lineup. They all do different things, especially this. This has got 3 totally different decks behind it. But this Even Warlock is one of the decks that can just 3-0 people. It's also a deck that can just fold up. It seems to be a really high variance deck depending on what it runs into.
Some decks are hit or miss like that. And pretty good opening hand here for Sirslim. He's got a couple Murlocs to work with, but Monsanto It's looking like he's going to have a hand that counter pressures that, and that's pretty much exactly what he needs. But he's looking for AOE.
He's looking for the AOE.
He wants the big payoffs. He doesn't want to say, you know what, sure, my two threes will fight. I'll have some stuff going on. And he wants to just blow up boards.
Totally different match and totally different decision, but we saw what happened with Frodan, kept a 4-drop and didn't have any ways of clearing boards.
Granted, that's a Miracle Road.
Yeah, so it's a bit different against Miracle Road, but same sort of premise is like if you can't clear the boards, you're going to die. Now, in that decision, you do keep the board presence, but we saw how it can go wrong.
Ooh, Megasaur's a big one.
These are the hands that I was talking about earlier, though, where you go turn 2, 2-3. Your Rock 100 just a River Croc quite often. Doesn't matter because you've got Megasaur behind it. But
seems good to me, yeah. Oh, Doomsayer drawn for Monsanto.
Yeah.
Huge pickup for Monsanto.
Suddenly River Croc doesn't look so good.
No, it does not. And this is a critical draw, not because it's blowing up the board.
It's blowing up the Megasaur.
Additionally to that, it's taking away Sirslim's play this turn.
Yeah.
This is a disaster for Sirslim. He's going to start at square one where Monsanto's going to be...
And he's going to start missing mana because he's not going to play the Megasaur on 4, probably. He probably has to play the 3-drop first, or he may just choose to play it as a 5-4 if he has to.
That's something I will be curious about, is, you know, sometimes you have to fill out your curve as much as you can.
Because, yeah, a 5-4 is significantly better than a 3-4, just for the hope you get it down later. With Call to Arms, though, he might be tempted to wait.
The other thing, too, is that Monsanto doesn't have actual pressure to add to the board this turn unless he wants to coin out Shroom Brewer.
I thought you were going to say something else then. You got everybody at it. Coin out the Mountain Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, he's just choosing to...
Nice little pickup.
Yeah, just choosing to obviously make these Giants insanely good. This is pretty much the purpose of the deck.
Well,
make Giants.
Now
this is easier now.
I'm feeling it's a Megasaur.
You don't need 2 Megasaurs in your hand in this game of Hearthstone.
The Megasaur also kind of gives Monsanto the impression that your hand is clunky.
Yeah.
And so that's really the only issue that there is with having a Megasaur in this spot, is that you tell Monsanto something about your hand.
But this hand unravels itself quite nicely over the next coming turns. The Call to Arms on 5 unravels a lot of things nicely. But then you've got the double 3 on 6 to back it up if needed, or Megasaur if your Call to Arms does a good thing.
Yeah. The thing I'm trying to get across here is that Monsanto now will start to craft that game plan.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned at the start, he's very good at visualizing turns and seeing what the best panouts are going to be. A lot of times in those situations for Monsanto, it was counter pressure, but in this matchup, he's anticipating a lot more damage coming down the road. So the question is, does he need to counter pressure even harder, or does he need to get something online and then start diffusing that board position with his Hellfires, keep that push going afterwards?
Yeah, he's got to work out what is the extent of his counterplay.
Yeah.
He's going to put down quite a lot by the look. I mean, Giants are quite easy to play. You play them, you hit for 8.
Yeah, a couple of Tide Callers here, but no Righteous Protector to try to shut down these attacks. And now Sirslim is, his options are looking that. This is going to result in a devastating Hellfire unless he just trades in the Mountain Giant.
And that's just a hard play to make. Well, he's certainly having a look at it.
Yeah.
He's certainly looking at it. But yeah.
It's so tempting.
5 damage, it's worked for him every game so far doing the damage like this and not chickening out, I think.
This spot, though, it's painful. This is a big punish for Monsanto.
Yeah. He's going to be pretty low himself, though, and this reload's at least annoying.
Yeah, he's got the 8 cranking, though.
But yeah, and he gets a Spellstone stuff.
See what I mean? That one turn, he smelled a 1 week turn. Boom, Mountain Giant, go in.
There it comes. That board shakes a lot when that hits you. Those things hurt.
You ever been hit by a mountain?
No.
I saw the mountain in Game of Thrones. I don't want to be hit by him. And I don't think he's an 8/8.
Is he big?
He's pretty big.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I shall keep away from mountains.
Yeah, don't fight mountains. They're made of rocks.
Shudder rocks.
Hey.
Reversing my accent there.
Foreshadowing.
So we've got 3 cards versus all of the cards. We've got more stuff on board. Monsanto's looking in a really good spot here.
Yeah. I imagine he's kind of thinking up ways that he dies from this spot. And
yeah, like what's my 1% mess up?
yeah, the one that's coming to mind for me is like a Wind Fury off Megasaur, Poisonous off Megasaur, something like that.
Yeah, and so he's not messing around, he's just trading just because of those things.
Yep, this is a great cause for deviation here. You just slow it down a little bit, heal the Mountain Giant out of range. You represent 20 on board to kill him next turn.
Yeah, and also he may have the read that the second Megasaur's in hand because of when you said he's visualizing what's happening. Well, why would you play a Megasaur here? Oh.
Because the hand's clunky.
And I've got 2 Megasaurs.
What makes the hand clunky?
Yeah.
3/4s. Well, those are out now. Saw the first Megasaur. We saw Call to Arms. It's either another Call to Arms or it's another Megasaur.
Yeah, and if it's another Megasaur, it explains why he played the first one, because he hasn't got that many cards that cost more than 4.
Exactly.
So there's probably another one there, and he's now used that information 2 turns later just to secure the game. He'd probably have done it anyway, but it's just a nice little read on top.
Those are things that I used to like feel in my gut when I was playing Hearthstone. Right. But after playing with Monsanto and practicing deliberately, there were thoughts that I began clarifying.
Sure, because the gut feels good because you've seen that a million times. Yeah. And somewhere it's stored in the back of your mind. So gut feels more than just a guess. You know he's got another Megasaur because, like you say, if someone like Monsanto can help you to rationalize it even better.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get rid of the instinct in the first place.
There it is. Ties it up. Puts his first win on the board, excuse me. And so we're going to game number 4. Sirslim, Taunt Druid, and Shudderwalk Shaman are what he's got left to answer back with. Monsanto's going to stay on Even Warlock. But the first win on the board with that Even Warlock looked clean.
It did. Amazing what Hellfire can do when it wipes out an entire board of minions. Oh, yeah. It was the Doomsayer, sorry.
Doomsayer was the big pickup.
It's so good to play Doomsayer and then have just a giant after. I know he had to miss a turn in between, but it's insane.
Yeah.
You've got nothing. I've got an 8/8.
And how much work did that little plated beetle put in, too? That Megasaur would have lived that Hellfire if he didn't draw that plated beetle.
Yeah, that was a tap that got in that.
Is that the unsung hero?
No, I don't sing about plated beetles. I guess always unsung. So, yeah, that would work. Now I think about it. Like, that's how unsung works.
He literally was unsung.
Yeah.
That's how most Hearthstone cards are. I don't really sing about a lot of Hearthstone. Well,
You do. I have seen you and Jay singing about Shudderwalks.
Not publicly. I'm very self-conscious when it comes to singing.
Okay, I won't talk about the Shudderwalks ever again.
You can talk about whatever you want. I can't stop you.
You stood next to me. You probably can.
Well, no, that's a legality thing.
Oh, okay, sure. I'm not a citizen. I probably can't think about it. Okay, Hand of Doomsayer versus Hand of Giant.
Doomsayer, I think, is actually quite important in this matchup. Right. And the reason why is just it simply delays a Mountain Giant turn. Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole turn when you're trying to get to 9 turns. That's the ideal, obviously, usually a bit later than that. Then, yeah, 1 turn out of 9's 7 or 8%. It's 11. Don't tell them. I like to sound like I'm not guessing.
Shudderwalk Shaman is just such a goofy deck. There's so many different variations of builds I've seen.
And that means it's not tuned yet, in my opinion.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
If nobody can agree what the build is, then the build's wrong.
And the fact that it's not tuned and that it's still pretty good.
Right. That's not just goofy, that's terrifying.
And mind you, the card pool, due to the standard rotation this year, was quite small. It starts out small and it gets a lot wider as the year moves on.
Yeah, any more Battlecry minions at all that do anything of use? There's plenty of stuff missing this Shudderwalk would like to do.
The first Battlecry card I look at in every single set now, I'm going to go, how does this work with Shudderwalk?
So, yes, a lot of people.
Every single time.
Does it make me a taunt minion? That's what I'd like to happen. Right. Well, lots and lots of 4-drops, how this deck operates. He's got them all. Here's the beetle. No one's singing.
Samanatide.
I mean, this is one of the things that is difficult about Shudderwalk, is you can't put much card draw in there because it messes up when you actually do the thing that you do. But you want card draw because otherwise if it's near the bottom, you're really struggling to get there.
Card draw is vital.
But it's also awkward the way it works. You've got Acolyte, that's good. That's a nice non-Battlecry card draw. All the others start to get really awkward at times.
Yeah, I've seen variations with Loot Hoarders. I've seen some Blood Mage, obviously a very good card in the deck. But I've seen like the Kaliseth version that became popular lately, the one that Meaty was doing super well in ladder with.
Yeah.
I played a lot of that myself. And at times it felt really good, but at times I was like, man, I want some Loot Hoarders.
If there's a Loot Hoarder version that can kind of learn to dump its hand as it goes, So you're shuffling through your deck, but you're not building up this massive hand of stuff that clutters up your Shudderwocks.
You got to efficiently dump the hand. That's the key.
Eventually, I think that's where we end up. I'm just throwing this out there. There's millions of games of Shudderwock being played, and no one's worked it out yet. But I think eventually we end up with loot hoarders and an efficient way to empty your hand.
You want to spend all your cards.
Yeah, just keep throwing cards out there, have more cards, have a Shudderwock kill you.
Have enough stuff at the end.
Now, that's easier said than done, or we would have done it. But I think that's where we end up.
He's doing it.
He's doing it. Do you remember when most Hearthstone games you had like one card in hand each? Maybe 2 years ago. Not necessarily if it was Warlock games, but
Oh, Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, I've got no cards, you've got no health. Those were the days. Now every game.
Wow.
Frog.
Wow. Timely draw for Sirslim. And you see Monsanto shifted his chair. You do not see a lot of emotion from Monsanto
you
while he's
don't,
playing.
Actually.
And when he shifts like that, he feels in trouble. Because now, this Manatide Totem isn't just threatening the card draw, it's that his answer from it completely shreds any idea of tempo from him.
Yeah. And
if this game keeps going at this pace, Monsanto is going to lose. He's got to figure out a way to get this done. And that means playing a Mountain Giant, and that means Manatide's going to draw again.
One step nearer to shuddering.
I don't know about you, but I don't like when my opponent's cards draw 3 cards.
No, especially when I've got a hero power I have to pay for to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem right. I've made this deck where I've got card draw for cheap, and you're just drawing cards like I am. And every turn that goes by, okay, this is cool.
Takes him up to 9 in hand. No kill on anything? No zap or anything like that? I guess there's not really much reason to.
We should point out the Earth Shock at this point as well, what it does. Kills Twilight Drakes.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the age-old shaman technique.
Yeah, it sort of comes and goes in this deck, and in this format, that's a really good bring to this tournament.
It's shaman is with Earth Shocks is like the old guy who has a tip on how to do something really quirky. It's like an ancient technique of killing Twilight Drakes. That's shaman's old guy.
Don't look at me when you say old guy who has tips on doing quirky
Sorry,
things.
I just won't look at you at all anymore. Apologies.
It's fine. But I have a really good way for trimming beards, if you want to hear it.
Pay somebody.
Yeah, pay somebody who knows how to trim a beard. Okay, Monsanto, as we return to reality. If he loses this Mountain Giant with those Earth Shocks in hand for his opponent, it's going to be so difficult.
It's not only that. If he loses this match, top 16 contention's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, both 5 and 2. So.
Yeah. He's going to go with Defile. And that is a mana consideration thing, it looks like to me. Wants that Shroom Brewer online to start cranking some damage as well. And 10 in hand.
But this is it. Well, I guess there's a Lich King.
This is a big
and a Hook Reaver and a Twilight Drake. Okay, it's not it.
Well, this is a big turn where Sirslim is not answering the damage present.
He's not, and he's also not really extended any of his Shudderwock stuff, so, you've got to make time to do that. And maybe on a turn where you can't do much anyway, maybe that's a turn where you sneak in some of that stuff. If it's enough to take out the Giant next turn, of course, like looking at Life Drinker, and it might just be too much mana and too terrifying.
Well, I just don't see viable plays in hand right now.
Right.
These are just kind of.
So you've got to throw the Acolyte out there.
God, just bad.
And he's just reached that same conclusion because he hasn't got a hand, so you've got to get one.
I mean, this is I feel like what I've struggled with Shudderwock Shaman with time after time is just the inability to have an impactful turn if something big is against me.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you've got double Hex, you've got the Healing Ring we just see there. You have Volcanoes, but it does seem that the second or third big minion just really, really hurts you.
That Mountain Giant's still got plenty of health.
He's got to do a lot of damage, though. Healing Rain means he's got to hit him a lot of times to win the game. I mean, 8's a pretty big number.
It's a very big, it's very large. 8 is a lot.
But healing for more than 8 is also good. And drawing more cards. I mean, there is stuff starting to happen in Sirslim's hand. He has got the Grumble now. The Life Drinker's in hand. The stuff is assembling. But That's on his side of the board. Look at Monsanto's side of the board, and the stuff's assembled and ready to go.
That's the thing, is like Monsanto now is trying to figure out how to compound the pressure. And I saw him reach for Twilight Drake, and that would be like the dream site for Sirslim.
Yeah, he gets something to empty his hand with and deal with a threat for 1 mana, all these things.
Killing a 4-mana card with a 1-mana card.
Yeah, at a time when you're desperate to do things because your hand doesn't do anything. There it is. There's the Reaver as well. As a 4/4, not going to mess around waiting for 7/7. Of course, Slim's not going to put him down there.
Mountain Giant's still cranking, though. Can't kill it this turn.
That would seem like a thing you'd want to do.
Yeah, it's just continue to find a way to delay. Just kill stuff over and over and over and over again and hope that you're still alive afterwards.
Yeah, and the trouble is for him in this situation is that stuff is going to be over and over and over. It's going to keep coming at you, but...
Even Warlock plays so much more like a tempo deck than I anticipated originally. It just constantly powers out threats.
I thought it was going to be like very bad control Warlock or Cube Lock.
And
it'd be really bad Cube Lock. It wouldn't have a cube. But
instead, it's just like old mid-range Druid. It just plays a bunch of stuff and draws a bunch of cards.
And just keeps doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't kill you at the end with Force Nature Savage Roar, but...
Yeah, it kills you because you just can't answer the threats anymore.
He's going to hope these Star Knights protect him. I spy some 4-mana answers in Monsanto's hand, and I remember criticizing Spellbreaker being in this Even Warlock deck. And he literally said to me, my favorite thing to do with Spellbreaker is just silence a taunt and hit him with Mountain Giant.
Well, that wish is going to come true.
Maybe not, though.
Well, maybe he doesn't feel the need to this time.
Draw a card. I was eyeing like Spellstone, Spellbreaker, dome him.
Well, we can see Slim's hand, remember. Maybe he's worried about stuff happening in the next 2 turns.
Yeah, but what card is Monsanto looking for is my question, I guess.
There's a chance to have a card, so he took it. He doesn't want to not tap. If he can get another hooked Reaver and he can get himself below 15, that'll be a 7/7. So he's looking to try and tap every turn to get there.
I was looking at 2 things. Number 1, you get more board presence, you hit it for 12. Or number 2, you kill some things and hit it for 12. He's gonna.
I mean,
wait, does he have... Oh, he's on 9 mana. I'm stupid. I was like, so tap is 2 mana.
Right.
Oh!
Yeah, he's playing a deck that doesn't do that, right?
Oh my gosh, I just forgot.
Yeah, so he's looking for Spellbreaker number 2. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I did wonder just for a moment there. And admirable in the pose of a man who's like, am I going senile now? Why did I forget this?
Wow.
Well.
Either way, it's still looking pretty rough. I mean, Primordial, Earthshock, looking okay, but, I mean, Monsanto, he's got double Hellfire locked.
Yeah.
Sirslim's at 6. If he can't heal, he dies. If he heals,
he probably
giant
dies.
hits him.
Yeah.
Looks kind of dead.
So all he's got to do is
Primordial
heal,
Drake,
stop the giant from hitting him, play a Shudderwock, get loads of health back.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Primordial Drake is not going to do it. That means Monsanto is going to force game number 5.
Game 5. It looked so easy for Slim 2.5 games in.
And this game started out pretty darn good.
And now the Shudderwock, not getting it done on stream.
Not so far. It's just been getting beat up. Monsanto, I mean, now the momentum has shifted too.
Yeah. It's going to be up against the Taunt Druid in the last game.
Taunt Druid, I feel, I just don't get that deck. Neil, I don't get it.
I played it quite a bit preparing for this event. Not a gigantic amount, but quite a bit.
Well, I want you to tell me how it wins the game then. Because as far as I'm concerned, I draw nothing but Tar Creepers and Spellstones, and then I die.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your opponent can't get through the Tar Creepers.
Oh, they kill them very quick.
This deck, yeah. Well, get your Hadronox.
Oh. Yeah, just
get
play
loads of taunt minions.
Yeah.
Blow it up, naturalize, make them overdraw their cooldown. It's fine.
Make them overdraw their cooldown. If you naturalize, though, wait, if you're using your naturalizes, are you using them on the Hadronox or are you using them on Mountain Giants?
Oh, the Mountain Giants don't get drawn.
Oh, that's how you win it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the key is Monsanto. He needs some pressure going.
He does need a lot of pressure going, and obviously Sirslim needs to draw taunt after taunt to get there, or he needs to be able to get these Spellstones ramped up and do a lot with those. The minions can get work done in decent ways. Yeah, if you hit a Mountain Giant with your 3/6 twice, it kind of dies to anything else in your deck at that point. So putting the taunts in the way.
After Mountain Giants
relevant.
kill 2 of your cards, it only kills 1 more.
you get a chunk of armor a lot of the time, so the Mountain Giant slows down a little bit. Well, it doesn't slow down, but it has more to do.
Yeah.
And you can sort of trudge your way towards getting there, but it's tough.
It's also critical that Monsanto is on coin this game, because when you're going first with Even Warlock, there's no turn 3 Mountain Giant. When you're going second with Even Warlock, you very often have turn 3 Mountain Giant.
Yeah. It's one of the things about the deck that part of me is not fond of and part of me thinks is amazing. It's like very inconsistent in that regard. Like, it's reliant on whether you went first or second.
It's like you just have Edwin Van Cleef.
And you do naturalize this, by
but
the way.
instead of comboing it, you just drew extra cards.
Yeah. Yeah, joking aside, you naturalize this the second you see it if you have the naturalize in your hand. And you find a way to sort out the Hadronox later. You've got to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Worry about it, right?
Again, the Even Warlock plays a lot like a tempo deck.
Yeah.
Where it gets so many extra cards because of, a 1-cost hero power, and just turn after turn after turn, it's just threat.
The things like spreading play, they just bounce off. It's like, oh, okay, what was that?
Oh, that's just
nice play. I'm a mountain. Yeah.
Don't fight mountains; they hit hard.
They hit plagues.
This is looking like the old Shroom Brewer turn.
Yeah, looks like it. And like I was saying earlier, if you hit this with 2 3/6s, that's nearly killed it. Man, nothing Shroom Brewer's about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Second Jasper is not too shabby. That helps kill some stuff.
But this branching path has got to do about 7 jobs. And it can only do 3, and it can only do 1 in a game.
Yeah,
It's got this, has it? Just chilling with the branching paths. Very appropriately named for this game, though. The Slim has got a lot of uses he can get out of this right now. He can draw some cards. He can power up those spellstones.
He's looking at the options between using branching paths and spellstoning, or using the like a swipe in this spot and then following up. Is that a 4 damage spellstone? Oh my gosh, it is. I forgot. I'm just missing everything today. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That was an easy turn.
I'll let you off.
He just wanted to make sure that was right, and it was.
But he's assigning things for later as well. He did have to.
The great debate's to nourish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you can kill a Mountain Giant, kill it.
Yeah, you get so much easier if you've got more mana.
Yeah, but then you take 8.
It's 8. What's 8 between friends?
A lot.
Yeah, it's not the 8 you take, right? It's the fact that next turn, even though you've got more mana, you've got to kill an 8/8 and some other things that have come down in the meantime.
Yeah, and then those things start dealing you 8.
It's really annoying because you have to deal with the things one at a time. Yeah, then those things start dealing you 8 as well. And dealing with things one at a time is not fun.
Not when they deal 8. I really feel like you're underestimating how much damage that is. I can't emphasize it enough. It's huge.
It's a lot of damage. And yes, Sirslim's in a lot of trouble.
Second cube drawn.
God, he looked like he was sailing this match, but how is he going to get out of this? I mean, one of the answers is Monsanto might have a fairly poor hand, and that is a thing that's going on.
It is dwindling quite a bit. I mean, we went Coin Dread Infernal. He's got Gen Greymane lined up, just a 6/5. And then his turn 7, that's looking like a weak point, though. But turn 8, that's Lich King. So his plan is pretty straightforward, I'd say, for Monsanto. Sirslim is trying to navigate his way through the corridors and the dungeons and find a way to get to Hadronox, slay him.
The thing is, you've got to get there and put some taunts down, because otherwise it doesn't do anything anyway.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that happens with this deck, is you get to your Hadronox and you suddenly realise, oh, I've been so busy getting to my Hadronox, I haven't actually played any taunt minions. I think they've played 1.
Yeah, and so now the way that this is played out, Nourish is lining up for card draw. He drew both cubes. That's very unfortunate. He probably is going to need some more stuff.
Yeah, and he's always going to have in mind now, although I don't think he gets the time to do it, that he might have to just play a cube. The thing that it's the same as fireballing a minion as the mage you were talking about yesterday. If you just play a cube, is a play you sometimes have to make, and you've lost when you do it. And so does your opponent.
It just hurts my stomach to think about it. I hate just playing cards It's kind of weird too, because the 5 mana 4/6, like that's not a bad stat
It's
line.
not horrific, right? It's okay. It's a thing.
Druid of the Claw is a 5 mana 4/6.
Yeah.
It's got taunt, but sometimes charge. Most of the time charge.
But it's not a 4/6.
That's not the point.
It's good to see you again. Pull up a chair by the hearth.
We're both just staring at the screen
Well,
going, ah.
These are all bad plays, and so this is one of the toughest situations in Hearthstone. All your plays are bad. Which one's the least bad? You're not always going to get the ideal draw, and when you don't, that's one of the big things I think that separates the elite.
I mean, he has to look at his positives here. I mean, there are very few, but 41 health means you've got a little bit of time. You don't have to answer everything now, which means you can nourish or cube accordingly, because both of those things take a little bit of time off you. And if your hand's bad, which it is, hey, let's make it less bad. This means you've given up any chance of challenging the board this turn.
These draws are not really making it less bad, though. It still just looks like a giant hand of stuff.
But this deck always looks like there's like 15 cards in this deck that don't do anything.
This is why I don't get it.
Because the other 15 are good.
I just lose. Like, I get in this situation every single game.
Or your hand is just this.
I hope he wins so I can figure out how.
I don't think you're going to get that lesson on this occasion. That is the downside. The deck has a lot of really dead cards until they do their thing, but they've got to do their thing in the right order at the right time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're dead cards like these cubes.
It's like a supernova. Nothing really happens until a giant explosion happens. And then once it happens, there's no turning back.
Yeah, that's the way of putting it. But the one thing I don't find, like, the one thing I do agree with you with on this deck in particular is sometimes it feels like no matter how good you are, there isn't a way to make it do its thing at all.
That's just some combo decks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if it's not there, it's just not there. But what Sirslim has been doing in these last few turns is using his health as a resource, trying to set up a situation where he can then use the taunts to buy time. And the second you start doing that, if you're not dead, and, you know, let's just ride with that
he's
for a
not dead
moment.
yet. Yeah.
He's not dead yet. If you do then get to Hadronox Naturalize and you bring back 3 or 4 in a turn, maybe you get some more health from your Apple Bomb, it turns fast like the supernova.
Yeah.
It suddenly, everything just flips around and suddenly your cubes look amazing. Your wishing hour that it doesn't do anything now looks fantastic.
It's nothing, 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 everything.
So he's got 2 or 3 turns of fiddling, but he's got 31 health to play with. You don't like to use the last one, it hurts, but... And Monsanto's aware of this. This is why he's pressuring to the absolute max now.
Yep.
It's like, if I don't get this done soon, maybe in some bad situations it turns away, and he's set up lethal.
16 damage.
Yeah.
And that Apple Bomb did not provide healing. Sirslim was already at 30 health.
Yep. So it's only the second one that provides healing, and there's not going to be a second one unless something insane happens here. Turn 9 is always the turn I draw Wild Growth. It's just not what you're supposed to do.
That's the thing. I'm really good at that. Okay. I got that ramp. I got it on lock.
Yeah, but you've been practicing it since 2014.
Yeah. Muzzy's the one who came up with the big refinement. You just chant Fates and Growths. That worked beautifully for me.
It's just then you have all these cards that don't do anything. I've got 10 mana, but I don't have any cards that do anything.
Somewhat true.
These sort of decks make evaluating metas really difficult. I'm talking about the Taunt Druid here because your mileage may vary so much that everybody has a different opinion on it.
That's the thing. You know, sample size is what makes the difference with decks like this. When it loses, you're just like, oh, I don't get it.
Yeah, what's it doing? Right.
That's how most combo decks look when they lose.
Yeah.
It looks like it doesn't do anything.
But something like Shudderwock, you can sort of see how it's going to win if it works. Whereas this deck, when it doesn't do its thing, you just lose.
Yeah.
Whereas Shudderwock, you have, I mean, we just saw it just lose, so it's not the best time to give the example, but you see it sort of hanging in there with some life drinkers, and it does some bits and pieces. Your non-combo pieces actually do something. Your combo pieces actually do something. I mean, look at this. This Witching Hour does precisely nothing.
Monsanto looks like, I think it was 1 damage off lethal this turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
I knew he hadn't got lethal, because he wouldn't have played the Lich King if he did. So I was not panicking. But yeah, the Shutterwalk deck works differently as we just see the final throws going on here, I'm pretty sure. Because every single combo piece plays... Like Grumble's a 6/6 if you have to. The cards just do things. These cards don't do anything.
What if I told you Grumble was even a 7/7?
We can go with that.
Just gets +1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, it is.
Or
It's
more.
Just, it's just like a thing. But
Life Drink is a thing that might keep you alive for a turn.
Yeah.
Chain Gang is a thing that will keep you alive for a turn.
You'd like your taunts to keep you alive for your turn, but when they just blow up every single time.
But what does Wishing Hour do? It does absolutely zero.
There's absolutely zero. Monsanto, 3-2 over Sirslim, even Warlock. Just big pressure, getting big things done. Comes back from a 0-2 deficit in that one.
Looked really impossible for him at one point there. That Paladin was just tearing through the lineup and looked to be doing all right.
That Doomsayer foreshadowed a lot.
He did. He told you. He told us.
He knew it.
It cleaned everything out completely, stopped the Murlocs, and from that point onwards, it's like one big deck, just like slowly getting back into this lineup, clawing through the lineup, and just got control of the whole match, let alone the game.
It really is like a big deck. Like, you know, Big Priest was called Big Priest because it just had big minions.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all even Warlock has.
It just
big
does it
minions.
quicker. And,
Yeah.
well, unless you draw Barnes. But yeah, that aside, this deck just makes stuff.
Just big Warlock.
Except everything's cheap, so it doesn't feel big.
It starts out expensive.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you found some good discounts on the rack because you were going fast through those racks. Tapping into some life and getting some stuff done. But
So Monsanto goes to 6-2, slightly wobbly tiebreakers, so he's got to win the next one and wait and see.
yeah, did pick up 2 losses fairly early on in the tournament, which he expressed on Twitter. He was discontent with it because he feels his lineup is really good and he felt like he was playing really well.
It's
just
showing that he's right.
Yeah, and the tight spots, it just, it wasn't quite working out for him. So that's going to wrap things up for this one. Sirslim's going to move down to 5-3. So out of contention for top 16, still playing for some points in this one. Round 8 is coming to a conclusion, but we got one more and then a cut to top 16. That's still coming up, so don't go anywhere. That 9th and final round of Swiss. We'll be back.